The second largest city on the Isle of Ireland, Belfast, is world famous and world class. It has a thriving economy, infrastructure, and culture. It also has a population that is absolutely mad about sports. Sports like boxing, football, and rugby. So what better city for the sport of mixed martial arts than Belfast? But don't call it MMA here. Don't call it mixed martial arts. 90% of the population won't even know what you're talking about. Here, it's called cage fighting. On this episode of Fight Zone, it's cage fighting, Irish style. Yes, indeed, Irish cage fighting. This promises to be another outstanding night of mixed martial arts cage fighting action. Welcome inside King's Hall, Belfast, Ireland. Jay Adams, everybody, alongside Graham Little, Jude Samuels, and guys, I'll tell you, the Irish community here has really rolled out the red carpet, and this card looks to be outstanding, Graham.
It really is. Cage Wars crew have put together a great build tonight for us, Jay. The Belfast fans, really knowledgeable fight fans, doesn't matter whether it's boxing, MMA, karate, you name it, they know it, and they really appreciate a good scrap, and we've seen a couple of the warm-up bouts already, and they went down very well here. Very knowledgeable crowd, and they love welcoming yourself, anybody. We always get on very well with visitors here in Belfast. It's each other we don't get on well with. The visitors are always very warmly welcomed here.
Well, I've been told, be careful what you say, how you say it, and who you say it to.
Well, I'm a local, so I can say whatever I like.
Dude, let's talk a little bit about the main event. This one should be very exciting. Yeah. Chris Stringer against a fighter who will be familiar to our fans in the United States, Rich No Love Clemente. Rich Stringer definitely has his work cut out for him.
Oh yeah, it's a massive fight for Chris Stringer. You know, Rich Clemente is a big step up for Chris Stringer. Chris Stringer's a replacement for Peter Duncan, who's his teammate who got injured. Stringer actually, ironically, has been training in the UK in the K-Bon gym there in Liverpool. You know, they have a few UFC fighters over there as well. But you know, Rich Clemente has been a UFC veteran himself, which is a very, very hard step and big step for Stringer, who's 7-7-1 at the present moment in time. So he needs to turn that to 8-7-1.
He knows this is a very big opportunity for him. Now let's talk about another big opportunity. John Lober, another big American fighter. The Machine is in town, and he's going to be facing McKibben. What does Lee have to do to pull this fight out, Graham?
Well, it's a massive night for Lee. It's basically his last fight. He won his last fight inside the first round. That was really his sort of last opportunity. He was given one more opportunity by the Cage Wars crew to really impress them, otherwise they were going to strike him off the bill. He did that in his last fight, and I know that he felt then he turned a corner and that his career was going to go from strength to strength. He's really in at the deep end in this one. This is going to be a massive fight for him. I know that he's worked really hard. I hope it's been hard enough because he's a massive opponent he's got tonight.
Really quickly, Colin McKe, Nedson Santos, Jude.
Yeah, Colin's a local boy and stuff like that. You know, everybody's rooting for Colin. Nedson, who's undefeated at the present moment in time, and I think Colin's going to go all the way forward. He's got a big test ahead of him as well. Same thing like all the other guys, but you know, I'm rooting for Colin this time.
We are indeed in Belfast, Ireland. It's Cage Wars Championship Nightmare. Let's get it on.
What I like about MMA, I like the fighting and be able to compete with someone, and I like that. I like the buzz of it. It's good. I mean, it's just going out there and doing it and fighting, you know. I just think that's for the excitement. I mean, it's the best way. If you don't want to lose, yeah, you can hold back or be tentative, but then again, if you don't want to lose, you got to win, you know, and that can make you fight harder, where you don't give up and you give it your all, you give it 100%. Strategy-wise, yeah, I think you always got to fight to your fight, you know. You always got to do what you're good at. You always got to bring it to where you're strong, where they're weak. So you just got to hope that's enough. That's what works for you. Opponent-wise, as far as I know, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a brown belt, and that's it. He's a grappler, ground kind of guy. He's a ground guy, and I'm a ground guy. So we'll see how it goes. Ideal world, first punch. That'd be about it. Ideal world, but no, probably, hopefully, first round win, hopefully.
Colin the Gift McKe, 26 years old, fighting out of Gracie Baja, Belfast, and Port City MMA. 8-3 as a pro. Graham Keys, his principal trainer, will be cornering him this evening. Muay Thai on his feet, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground. Aspect of his fight game that his opponent should most fear, his ground and pound. Won his last 3 fights by means of the knees, and has won his last 6 fights in a row. Colin McKe. He was sitting at 2-3. You know, he said, "Oh, should I stay in the sport? I'm 2-3." He rattled off 6 straight wins. Boy, it's got to feel great.
And I think he took a big break after that 2-3. He spent a lot of time in Thailand on holiday. I remember speaking to him after he came back. I said, "Are you going to fight again?" He says, "Hopefully, I'm just not in good shape at the moment," but he looked in terrific shape, and then he went and got fitter and fitter, and he's since come back and won 6, so maybe a break was the best thing that he did.
A crowd favorite, to say the least. He'll be facing this gentleman here. Nedson, the Brazilian Santos, 37 years old, fighting out of Brazil Fighting, BST, SSL MMA, BST standing for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Nedson is undefeated, 6-0. Muay Thai on his feet, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground. This should size up to be a very substantial fight when you look at both of these combatants on paper. These are 2 serious, high-quality, highly skilled fighters.
Well, there's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears tonight. You know, I think this is a good test for Colin. Somebody who's professed higher level ground skills. You know, give him something different to work at.
I don't expect a lot of striking in this. They both like being on the ground. It should, if it goes according to plan, go down there fairly early. I've seen Colin McKe win and lose fights from that style, has to be said, but most recently in the King's Hall, he's been winning them. 6 on the trot for Colin McKe. Fine form.
I think Colin's strike and Colin's knees are going to make the big difference in this. You know, like if Nielsen got to shoot, Colin just comes up the knee. You know, it's going to force Nielsen to think about when he shoots. You know.
Well, Colin McKe has won his last 6 fights, as we said, and Santos has won his last 6 fights. 6-0, Nathan Santos, actually.
Fighting out of Port City MMA, weighing in at 78.9 kilos, from Belfast, Colin McKe! And his opponent, fighting out of Blood, Sweat and Tears MMA, weighing in tonight at exactly 74 kilos, originally from Brazil, now residing in Lanzarote, Nelson Santos Ferreira!
So this is a welterweight matchup scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds between that gentleman right there, Nelson Santos Ferreira, and Colin McKe.
Big change of opponent for Colin, because Colin was obviously training for Che Mills, but Che Mills got injured. Nelson Santos Ferreira to come in and replace Che, which is good, but very, very different type of opponent, you know.
How difficult is that, Jude, to suddenly fight somebody different?
Well, he's been training for weeks to fight somebody of a particular style, and now you're fighting somebody with a totally different style. A stand-up war. Colin looks much bigger and stronger than him. You know,
Colin's won his last 3 fights with his knees.
Nathan does not want to trade. Nathan doesn't want to trade.
He got on his bike.
He's on his he's on his bike.
And his hands were straight down there for a couple of seconds. That is not how you want to face McKe.
Was Colin trying to get that knee into play early on in this fight? As I said, he's won his last 3 fights using that.
Got him squeezed up against the cage. Colin digging in on his ribs.
McKe in the black and white full tilt trunks, and Santos in the black with gray trim.
Nelson seems to be slightly lost when he's against the fence. He's not trying to turn Colin around. He's not trying to pummel. You know, he's lifting his knee up. He's trying to strike. It's probably the difference probably between the two is probably Colin, you know, he probably fought a higher caliber of opponent than Nelson. And Colin's got a tight clinch. He moved him around. Oh, he's gone for the knee. He really wants to stick in those knees. Soaking up the pressure.
I think you're right with your early call, Jude. I'd imagine that Colin's got vastly superior striking skills.
Oh, yeah.
That might be what makes the difference. No weight behind Nelson's early punches at all.
In case you haven't noticed, they haven't been to the ground yet. I think Colin's got just done his burst now, and now he's just working on his game.
Oh yeah, dirty boxing, getting in the clinch, getting ugly, roughing up Nelson.
Make it nice and dirty. He needs to get Nelson's head down and to use his knees a bit more. Nelson's controlling his wrist way too much.
Keep in mind, folks, that Colin McKe won his last 3 fights in a row with the knee. Looks like he's really setting up that left knee now.
And big elbows as well. He likes to throw a few elbows. Colin McKe.
Trying to come over for a standing guillotine.
You can hear his corner knee,
Yeah, shouting knee. Colin needs to control his wrist just a bit more. And then just come over the elbow. Way, big knee.
That'll keep them quiet for a while.
Oh, another knee. Big shots, big shots.
Wow.
Nedson covering up, and he's finished. The referee's going to have to stop this, I think. Nedson covering up,
It's
giving nothing
over!
back.
At 3 minutes and 1 second of round number 1, Colin the Gift McKe takes out Nedson Santos with punches, guys.
Absolutely. Well, Jude called it correctly. The superior striking skills of Colin McKe were going to decide this, and Nedson just decided that he'd had enough. Took a lot of heavy blows, covered up, gave nothing back, and the referee really had no option but to stop that one.
Some days somebody's O's got to go.
That's right.
You can't remain defeated on forever.
That was great. Great heads up there by Colin McKe, because he sensed that the referee was coming over his left shoulder. And as soon as he saw the ref coming in, he get those hands going real fast and just get it nice and flashy, get that arm up there. Who cares if you're connecting? The ref is seeing these big flashy punches.
It looks good.
It looks good, and you're just going with the momentum there to keep that ref coming over there and stopping it.
Well, Nedson Santos very much in uncharted territory. This is the first fight he's ever lost, and I don't think he's ever had to withstand a flurry of punches of the intensity that Colin McKe was able to generate. He's back on his feet now, though, which is good to see. Taking his time, hands on his knees. It really took a lot out of him. Badly shaken by that onslaught from the local boy, Colin the Gift McKe.
Shaken but not stirred.
This will be a popular decision, this.
And so, after 3 minutes and 4 seconds, as his opponent was no longer able to defend himself, the referee stopped the fight and ordered it to your winner, the Gift, Colin McKe.
Just too much firepower. Colin McKe moves to 9 wins and 3 losses.
Colin, I guess you got tired of the knees. You've won your last 3 fights in a row with the knees. Your corner is screaming the knees. The crowd is screaming the knees. You decided to go with punches this time, and it worked just as well.
I feel great. He's very, very strong guy. So,
everybody has their eyes on you, Colin. That is 7 straight wins in a row for you. You're going straight to the top. What do you look forward to in the future?
Hopefully keep training, try to make it full-time, get back to America, be good. Just want to thank sponsors, Full Club Poker, Night Hero, great guys. Thank you.
Nicely done. One more time for the Gift, Colin McKe.
I've looked up a lot about John Lober. He's fought the best of the best, and he's been around when it first came out. You know, I feel privileged to fight him, to be able to fight him. He's very aggressive. He's very aggressive striker. He's very good on the ground. It's just going to be an explosive fight. That's just I just can't wait for it. To fight in front of my home crowd and to be at the top of the bill, it makes me more determined not to make stupid mistakes or run and rush, just to go in there and take everything calm, just be calm, and just show the crowd and the fans what you're made of. A prediction for this fight, I'm not going to give a prediction, I just want to let everybody wait and see, to just let everybody wait and see for the fight tonight, and it's going to be a really good fight. I'm not going to give no predictions. I just want to have a good, fair fight. I just want a war for myself, for him, and for the fans. Sit in your seats because it's going to be a roller coaster.
And through the smoke looms the dragon, Lee McKibben. 3-5 his professional record. Determined to improve that tonight in front of his home crowd. Fights out of the Chum Sut Gym in Lisburn here in Northern Ireland under Tom Lamont.
Yeah, he looks very composed. Notice a big test for him fighting John Lober. So
this is a massive opportunity for Lee McKibben, isn't it? A real step up in class for him. Let's see how he responds to the challenge. There was a bit of bad blood between these two in the build-up. Well, Lee McKibben since has said that it was just a misunderstanding. They love each other, really. He's really enjoying this entrance. So he should, as the local boy, he'll have the majority of the fans on his side. Muay Thai when he's on his feet. Yeah, his last fight was pretty much the last chance saloon for Lee McKibben. He'd lost a few on the Cage Wars bills. The promoters said to him, we know there's much more in you, you've got much greater potential and you're showing this your last chance. You've got to show us what you're made of. And he certainly responded. He won that fight in the first round. The rear naked choke. To know that he felt was getting back somewhere to what he felt was his potential, what he was capable of. Let's see now if he can move on from there and progress, move up the ladder and meet the challenge of John the Machine Lober, who is about to enter the arena.
John Machine Lober. I'm from California. I study in multiple martial arts, you know, and I've been in the sport probably since about 95, 96. Well, what attracts me to the sport is I like winning, no matter what I do. Every day I do something at a competitive level, at a high level. I challenge myself. Whatever he brings, that's what he brings, okay? But me, John Lober, I'm only happy when people are throwing punches at my head, okay? So if he wants to come right for the, you know, straight knockout, that's what I want, okay? But if he wants to, you know, run around and make me chase him, you know, or whatever his strategy is, I'll just deal with it, you know? It's nothing I haven't seen before. Well, as an old school street fighter, I'm just trying to knock you out. Straight up, put the knuckles on the chin and put you out, okay? But as a world-class grappler, I get position on you on the ground, I'll pound you out or I'll put you in a submission. It doesn't really matter. And, you know, I'm just gonna take whatever you give me and I'm gonna run with it. I'm man enough to take the fight, I'm man enough to lose the fight, and I'm man enough to win the fight as well.
Well, the Belfast crowd didn't enjoy that interview. John Lober getting roundly booed during that, and getting roundly booed now as he comes into the King's Hall Arena here in Belfast, Lee McKibben's hometown. John Lober really in the lair of the Dragon McKibben right now. But as he said himself, it's nothing he hasn't seen before. Vastly experienced. To be 42 in February. Way back in 1997, he beat Frank Shamrock. He then lost a rematch in the UFC a year later. So he's been around a long time, and he's fought some of the very biggest names in the sport. This is his first fight on a Cage Wars Championship bill, though. Let's see if he still has it.
Yeah, taking out Frank Shamrock, that's no minor feat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One of the biggest names in the history of the sport.
Actually, literally wrote the book of the sport.
Yeah.
I was reading earlier today, he wrote MMA for Dummies. He was authored that book,
Nice.
Frank Shamrock, so literally wrote the book on the sport. And John Lober beat him.
Wow. A serious, serious test for Lee McKibben. You see Lober getting his Vaseline applied.
You got to respect Lee McKibben for taking this fight in his hometown against such a great name.
A big gamble.
Could really kick on from this though, couldn't he, Lee? If he was to win it.
So John Lober taking the 31-foot cage here in Dublin, Ireland. I'm sorry, Belfast, Ireland. And the crowd here in Belfast, I noticed that the appreciation for the ground game is exemplary. Listen to that ovation.
Very much the hometown favourite. And now let's hear the contrary welcome that John Lober's going to get.
Weighing in tonight at 82.7 kilos from California in USA, John the Machine Lober.
You just notice that John's feet all taped up.
Yeah, very heavily strapped around both ankles.
Yeah.
I suppose when you're 41 and you've been fighting as long as he has, there's bound to be some areas of the machine that need a bit of work.
Tail of the tape, big difference here, the age differential and experience differential, both for and against Lober. Get into your 40s, it just doesn't matter how good you are or once used to be, there's gonna be some reflex issues. You know, even Couture started slipping as of late. Just barely squeaked out that win against Brandon Vera. Here we go. In the middleweight division, the Dragon versus the Machine. Lober in the longer black trunks of the two.
Oh! Lee McKibben with a fantastic low kick. Sweep of the leg, that. That'll do his confidence no power of good.
Lober going for the single leg, then switching for the double. Linking his hands together, he's going to pick him up. McKibben's going up in the air. Oh, he's got that guillotine on tight, McKibben. Guillotine versus takedown.
Finally pointed.
Tapping out at 43 seconds of round number one. Lee, the Dragon, McKibben taps out John Lober.
Can you believe it? Not in his wildest dreams did Lee McKibben dream of topping out John Lober inside 30 seconds of the first round here at the King's Hall in front of his home crowd. Absolutely incredible. John Lober distraught. He didn't expect that. He didn't come all the way from California for that. He's apologizing to Lee McKibben, and Lee McKibben won't accept that apology. He's absolutely delighted with himself.
Well, well, well.
Love to take another look at that. That was fast.
Happens to the best of them, doesn't it?
Lober got aggressive, handed it to McKibben, and
threw his gum shield at the cage.
He's after throwing his gum shield.
I've never had a gum shield thrown at me before.
It's landed right in the commentary position.
In just 45 seconds, your winner, Lee McKibben!
Well, we said this was a massive opportunity for Lee McKibben. And where can he go from here? He has just beaten John Lober, far and away the toughest opponent of his career, and he's just beaten him inside 30 seconds in the first round. Absolutely astounding result that for Lee McKibben.
And I would like to put this win into perspective for you, Mr. McKibben. This is a fighter who you just took out, who is a guy who took out Frank Shamrock. John Lober beat Frank Shamrock. John Lober has beaten some of the best mixed martial arts fighters in the history of the sport, and you just tapped him out in 45 seconds. How good does this moment feel for you right now?
Unbelievable. Did you enjoy that? My respects to John Lober. He's an amazing fighter. I've seen all his fights. I actually look up to that guy. He's beaten the best. He's fought the best. Guys, I like the fight. I like the thanks. Chum Sutton, my coach, my fighters. I like the fight. Thank my sponsors, Raid, Best Head Club, Belfast, Burgers, one of the best burgers in Belfast.
All right, quickly, walk us through the end of that fight. He came out aggressively and gave you that head. You said, hey, you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it, and you did not look back. You sunk it in from the beginning. Did you know you had him right away?
We had a single. I got the one arm in, and I was looking for the arm to link it up. And when I got that, he was defending it, so I knew it was on, so I finished it.
You watch how many YouTube hits you get on this one now. Took out a huge name in the States. You watch what this does for you. Any final thoughts?
That was unbelievable. Guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. These are the best ones in Belfast, best ones in the world. Thank you.
One more time for Lee the Dragon McKibben!
When I started MMA, I didn't actually know what MMA was because it was still kind of it was what they call the dark ages at the time. So I only went to learn martial arts, and this is what it was. Then when I started fighting, it was just the thrill and the adrenaline rush and the total euphoria of fighting is what wanted me to do it again and again and again. Well, because it's the main event and I'm such a high level fighter, I can't really afford to make any mistakes. If I make a mistake, it could be the end of the fight. So yes, it'll be slightly tentative, but I'm still going to be aggressive, still going to be the fighter that I am. You know, I'm not going to do any shortcuts, but my game is going to be 10 times tighter than what it's ever been before because it's such an elite level fighter I'm fighting. Rich is a very good all-rounder. He's good at striking, he's good at boxing, clinch, he's good on the ground as well. But when you hit him hard, he kind of gets a bit annoyed. He tries to hit you back, but if he misses, he will try and take you to the floor. So he will use his strength. So he's a very strong wrestler as well as that.
So Ireland in our 3 featured fights going for a sweep in this 3rd fight. So far they're clean on every fight so far. Stringer trying to make it a sweep, a clean sweep.
Yep, Northern Ireland going for the hat-trick tonight in the shape of Chris Stringer.
Menace to society. Just turned 23 years old, 7-7 as a pro. Muay Thai on his feet, wrestling on the ground. And I'm not sure if the bandana is part of the persona or just trying to get through that smoke machine without... The last thing you want to do as a fighter is inhale all that smoke.
Yeah, maybe he's just protecting his lungs on the way down to the cage. No, I know he puts almost as much work into his build-up as he does into his training, Chris Stringer. He likes to get the look of the fight right.
Very good on his feet, loves to stand and bang, loves to trade. He's a grinder too, he can grind you down on the ground. His one area that he's not happy with himself is his submission defense. Feels he's been caught too many times. 7-7, he knows he can do much better on that record.
He is a little bit prone to making the odd silly mistake, and he's paid for those in this very arena, actually. I remember seeing him knocked out in just 18 seconds a couple of years ago, but since then he's atoned for that. He's also put together some really handy victories. And he is a handful, Chris Stringer. I think Rich Clemente will find that out in the next few minutes.
The European Judo champ. Normally an aggressive fighter, but in this fight he's told us all that that has changed with Clemente. He's going to play smart, he's going to feel him out, take his time. He knows what a serious opportunity this is in fighting someone of Rich Clemente's stature.
Started actually fighting 11 years ago. Been training grappling for a total of 17, almost as long as my opponent's been alive. I have over 60-something pro fights, and you know, fought some of the best guys in the world. Still up there myself. So just coming in to show my dominance and really put a lot of pressure on my opponent and just break his spirit. When I'm pressured like that, and when I feel like a guy's stepping up to fight me, I actually take it as a little bit of an insult. You should not want to fight me because I'm kind of a mean type fighter. I look to go in there and do damage, and that's my game plan. He'll quit by round 2. One way or another, I don't know what'll happen, but he won't go past the 2nd round with me. I've never been knocked out, but you know, even if I'm hurt a little bit standing up, I can always resort to that. And that's just an ugly place to be when you're underneath someone that you can't get out of, and you're getting elbowed and punched, and you're just using a lot of energy. It's like a nightmare.
A very high-level fighter about to take the cage here in Belfast. Rich No Love Clemente has been in the cage with some of the best names in the sport and beat them. This is another guy just like John Lober. This is Paddy Mooney taking some of the best fighters from the States, bringing them over here to Belfast and testing his guys and saying, guys, you want opportunities to, you know, make a splash for yourself internationally, here you go.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing in an absolute stud for you. Now you got to beat him.
Totally, and it's great to see him here in Belfast. As you say, the Cage Wars team, Paddy Mooney, Chris Kelly, really brought over some of the biggest names in the past. We had Jeff Monson here earlier this year. Now we've got Rich Clemente. And the fans are turning out for it. This is kind of the Cage Wars Championship is getting a really good name for itself all around Europe here. And people are coming here now to Belfast to see these big names.
Clemente with 57 professional fights, 43 wins, 13 losses, and 1 draw. Clemente is the very definition of seasoned pro. And yet still in his early 30s. This is about the worst combination you want. Someone in their prime age-wise, someone in their prime experience-wise, and someone who's a little bit angry.
43 professional victories. That's just massive, isn't it? It is
Most
massive.
guys never make it to a total fight of 43.
He knows how to win.
He's beaten some top names, including Melvin Gilliard, Katani.
And so as we come to our final fight of the night, it means, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is now time for tonight's main event. Introducing first to my right, fighting out of the Chum Sun Gym, standing 5'9" tall, weighing in at 71.7 kilos, with a fighting style he describes as head-busting, one-man-ass kung fu, from Lisbon, Northern Ireland, Chris Stringer! And his opponent, fighting out of Clemente's Gladiators Academy, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at exactly 73 kilos, from Slidell, Louisiana, USA, Rich Clemente!
Well, the test begins. Stringer versus Clemente.
Rich Clemente, known for pressuring his opponents, known for fighting like a bulldozer, constant pressure. Clemente does not let you breathe inside the cage.
Very evenly matched in all respects, as we said, except for the age and experience, and that is quite a huge differential between the two men.
Well, Clemente very, very calm, you know. You see Stringer's very up and ready to go. Clemente just calm.
Yeah, Stringer, he's probably using up a lot of nervous energy. Rich Clemente conserving.
Clemente in the black trunks, Stringer in the white.
Nice low kick. And Stringer.
First blow to Chris Stringer.
Young Chris Stringer letting us know he knows this is the opportunity of a lifetime. The rest of his countrymen have swept, and he's in front of a packed house here at King's Hall in Belfast.
Rich Clemente just playing games with him there, playing psychological games, saying anything you can kick, I can kick better. Laughing in his face. Chris Stringer doesn't want to get drawn into that. Just to fight his own fight.
Clemente's coming forward and Stringer's going backwards.
I suppose whatever happens tonight to Chris Stringer, he'll learn a lot from this.
Stringer's very, very, very tentative, you know. It's like Clemente's going forward, the slip by trying to overreach a bit too much.
This fight being fought at a catch weight of 160 American, and Clemente had to come down substantially to make 160. That, you see how that comes into play here. Stringer very, very easily going up.
Clemente really taking the fight to Chris Stringer. Not what we're used to seeing from Stringer, but he did say that he was going to change his normal aggressive style, giving Clemente the respect he deserved, but maybe giving him too much respect, Jude.
Yeah, he has to fight smartly tonight.
He has to fight smartly, but you know, he's on the move.
He doesn't want to give him too much respect.
I think he's waiting for the moment when, you know, when Rich gets a bit angry and kind of overcommits, and try to take advantage of that. You can see Rich is much. You can see Rich has come down, down to Stringer's weight. He's much bigger than him.
It's a fairly wild, big right hook he was trying to throw. Chris Stringer quite tight around the shoulders.
Nice inside leg kick there by Stringer.
Needs to maybe try and relax his shoulders a bit more, just like Rich Clemente's doing.
Clemente going for the axe kick. Stringer's been smart. Moving around, moving around, moving around.
Yeah, I love the fact that Stringer is taking his time. This is showing me a lot in the young 23-year-old. He's not getting crazy. He's got to fight this kind of fight. He's got to not get sucked in.
Yeah, do not get sucked into the game.
Yeah, Clemente might start playing some gamesmanship, try to get him sucked in.
Double jab, making Stringer cover up.
Clemente with the southpaw stance.
Must be difficult for Chris Stringer as well, his home crowd here, the biggest fight of his career. He's not going to let that get to him.
Yeah, the table is set. The table is set for a heroic. All he has to do now is beat Rich Clemente.
Wow! Nice takedown. Excellent takedown. Caught the leg from Clemente, overcommitting with the round kick.
Have a chance to see Stringer work from the full closed guard of Clemente.
Stringer's arm is on the inside. Clemente can go for the armbar from this position or sweep him.
Oh, full mount for Clemente, and he looks up. Oh, the crowd's not going to like that. The crowd will not like that.
A little bit of showboating.
Yes.
From the American legend. Just reminding the crowd of his status in the sport.
Oh, Stringer trying to buck away. He needs to get out of this position.
Clemente is showing no love. That's his nickname. Rich No Love Clemente, and that's what he's showing right now, and no respect.
And he's looking right down the face of the corner of Chris Stringer. Tom Lamont and Peter Duncan there. Rich Clemente, there was a nice moment when he looked up and just caught their eye and shook his head, as if to say this guy's not in the same category as I am. But he is so far, Chris Stringer. He's in trouble now, but he did remarkably well in the first few minutes.
Well, he's in a lot of trouble.
30 seconds to go in this round. Can he last?
Clemente's going to try to soften him up, see what kind of submissions might be available.
Well, he's gone for the high mount. He's got his right leg up. He's using the cross face across the elbow. Get a bit of space. Stringer has to get out of there.
10 seconds to go. Stringer should be okay. He's going to go for the armbar.
Oh, big elbow.
There. It was there for Clemente. Oh, and Stringer just avoided a bullet there. Clemente knew it too. Clemente looked up like I took a little bit too long there. He wasn't paying attention to the clock. He should have gone for that armbar earlier.
Clemente, an absolute expert in the art of pretending he's not tired. Strolls over nonchalantly back to his corner. He is breathing hard, but he didn't want Chris Stringer to see that.
He's the wily veteran.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you that Rich Clemente had a very tough weight cut and he had a very tough trip over. That's the thing coming across, whether it's the Brits or the Irishmen coming over to the States or vice versa. The Americans coming over, it's a disadvantage. The time change is nasty.
Huge.
I can tell you right now, the time change wiped me out for a day. I couldn't even get out of bed.
Toughen up, stop complaining.
But you're in top form now, Jay.
Well, this will You know what? It is worth getting up. It is worth getting up.
Yes, there's some of the finest sights of Belfast there. That's what's cheered you up a bit. But yeah, Rich Clemente was blowing hard, but he didn't want Chris Stringer to see that, and he just strolled over as if it didn't take anything out of him. And now,
round number 2. How do you score the first round, guys?
Well, Clemente, you know, from the sweep and then the mount. And Clemente's now stepping up his pace just a bit. Stringer doing the same tactic. Oh, he's gone for the takedown. Clemente.
Yeah. Clemente faked the punch and went straight for the rugby tackle almost.
I think Clemente's trying to go for his prediction of the second round. Taking the arm, going for the Kimura position. Control the arm, stretching it out. Stringer needs to wall walk, get up, put his back against the fence to protect that arm. Oh, he gets mounted
Full mount again. This doesn't look good for Stringer. Full mount way too early in the round. And Stringer is the smaller of the two fighters, and it's very evident here. The size difference is palpable.
It's going to be a long, long, long round, this one, for Stringer, if he doesn't get out.
We'll see if he's practiced walking up the cage. See, Clemente's not even going to let that happen. He's going to scooch him back to the center of the cage.
Yeah, the experience of Rich Clemente there, maneuvering Chris Stringer back into a place where he wanted him, giving him no comfort at all.
Clemente just taking his time. Again, he's going to...
Setting up the armbar.
Setting it up, working at the foot. High mount. Legs up. Stringer, instead of holding on, man, should just really shrimp out from the bottom. Push on Clemente's hips.
Massive support here, Chris Stringer. The crowd desperately trying to rise him off his back.
Look at that arm popping out. Big elbows by Clemente. Whoa, another big elbow.
What's Chris Stringer got to do here, Jude?
Stringer needs to really snake and shrimp out from underneath there. You know, defend one side, push on the hip to get at least one leg out so he can get to half guard. He's missing his opportunities and just getting grounded from the bottom.
He's eating some nasty elbows. This is what Clemente's known for. He will beat you down. If he gets into a dominant position, he will grind you into submission. And he said, I wish there was no such thing as time limits. I would never have lost a fight. Because I never really lose fights. I just run out of time. Because he's a grinder.
Got that foot up again.
He's fighting at professional level for 10 years, Rich Clemente. He's seen it all. He's done it all.
Now he's got the triangle position from the mount.
Win in Ireland.
Oh, big elbow. Oh,
this is nasty.
Oh, this is horrible.
Stringer's getting in triangle trouble now.
He's badly cut as well, Chris Stringer. He's got
this is deep.
For the young Irishman.
Got the reverse.
It's over. At 2 minutes and 55 seconds of round number 2. Rich, no love Clemente takes out Chris Stringer in pretty easy fashion. Crowd here doesn't like it. It was a dominant performance, however, from no love Clemente.
Absolutely. Fought well within himself, you got the impression there. And look at the damage to Chris Stringer. Huge lump under his left eye. He did what he could, Stringer. He fought his own fight in the first round, but then once Clemente got near the ground in either round,
those elbows were, yeah, those elbows were absolutely devastating. The punishment that Clemente dishes out when he gets on top of you into a dominant position, not too many people in the history of the sport have gotten out of it, so Chris Stringer has nothing to hang his head about.
Absolutely not. He'll have learned so much from that fight as well. It'll take him forward in his career. To get into the ring with a legend like Rich Clemente will be looking back, something that I'm sure he'll realise is one of the highlights of his fighting career, no matter what he does after this.
And so, after 3 minutes and 11 seconds in the second round, the winner scoring a tap out with a triangle chokehold, Rich Clemente! All right, I'm here with Rich No Love Clemente, and Rich,
You felt very confident from the beginning in your pre-fight interview. You said there was really no area that he threatened you in. You came out with that confidence, and it was a dominant performance. How do you feel with your performance this evening?
I'm just happy to be fucking fighting in Ireland, right? That's what it's about. It's my fifth time out here. And I finally got to fight. So just glad to fight here in Ireland. Chris stepped up about a month ago, took the fight as a last-minute replacement. So that takes some balls, man. So hats off to him too.
Let's walk us through the fight. The first round, you got a pretty easy mount. There was one point when you got the mount where you kind of looked up and looked around and kind of smiled to the crowd. What was going through your mind there, No Love?
Yeah, I mean, the ground is my world, and when I get on top, that's when I win fights usually. He's a lot tougher than most, rode it out. We had to go in round two, so it's a good fight, man. He's a tough kid.
He's a tough kid. He has nothing to hang his head about. You're one of the best in the world at the very elite level of the elite. You've beaten some of the best guys in the world, so he has nothing to hang his head about. What's in the future for you? Would you like to come back and fight in Ireland?
Man, my guys are going out here. Like I said, I finally got to come out here. I love Cage Wars, Patty Rocks, man. Keep it up, fans, man. Cage Wars is what it's about here in Europe.
One more time for Rich, No Love Clemente.
All right, I'm here with Chris Stringer. You're going for the hat trick. Ireland has been kicking butt all night tonight. All three of our featured fights, you know, the Irish won the first two fights. You were going for the hat trick tonight. I know you wanted it badly, Chris. You came out, you fought a very smart fight. The first round, you were doing what you had to do. You were dancing around, you felt them out. You did not go crazy right away. Typically, you're an aggressive fighter. You knew that you had to counterfight. You were fighting a good fight right up until the point where he mounted you. It was a good game plan, Chris.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody here. Sorry that I lost, but hope that everybody proud. Quick, hard fighting sponsors, Actor Factory, Derek for the Summer, John Sutton, Everlast, Joe Rose, Cameron, and all you people that come in here to support me. Thank you very much.
Chris, you have absolutely nothing to hang your head about. You took this fight on short notice, and you gave him a great competitive fight, taking it on short notice. What can we look forward to in your future?
Come back bigger, better, and stronger. Rich is an elite level fighter, and it just shows I'm an up and comer. Next time I'm going to be bigger, better, stronger, faster. I'll be back, don't worry.
You stepped up like a man, my friend. You did a great job. One more time, show some Irish love. Chris, Menace to Society, Stringer! Well, I wasn't disappointed, guys. A lot of fabulous fights right here in Belfast, Ireland. Really good matchups here in the cage.
Surely, I'm absolutely delighted for all the Irish people that won. First of all here, McKe, absolutely delighted for him. Lee McKibben, certainly the shock of the night, that a stoppage inside the first 45 seconds of the first round. Absolutely incredible result. The last fight obviously went as we expected, but plenty of entertainment value there, and great for the Belfast fight fans to see a real legend of the sport here in the King's Hall doing what he does best and winning the ground and pound.
Jude Samuels, what fight stands out in your mind as particularly exemplary tonight?
Well, it was great to see actually
actually Colin and fight Nason, which was really good. So, you know, took another step for going forward. A different type of opponent, as I said, you know, in the commentary, that it's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, you know, somebody who goes for the ground game. And Colin just really really pushed his game plan forward. And yeah, just used his knees, used his striking, etc., and really pulled out the win. That was really impressive, really good.
Let's talk about the McKibben Lober fight a little bit. You know, you were so excited about that, and the way it happened right in front of his hometown fans. What's that going to do to a fighter's confidence?
It's got to put it through the roof. I mean, we were saying that previous to this fight, it was Lee McKibben's last chance here in Cage Wars. He won that fight in the first round, and Paddy Mooney and Chris Kelly here of Cage Wars kept faith in them, said, okay, you're still in it, let's have another fight. And then this fight came up, John Lober, a big name, a guy who's been around for a long time. We thought it was a bit of a gamble for Lee McKibben at this stage. Didn't turn out that way, absolutely incredible. What a shocking result. He's been absolutely delighted, and the fans here really loved it, and who knows where he can go now. I know that this has been a massive night for Lee McKibben, and let's see where he goes now. But it'd be nice for us to see, obviously we're great to see all the American fighters coming here to Belfast. It'd be nice now to see some of the Belfast fighters going to America and making a name for themselves over there. Let's have it going the other way for a change.
Yeah, based on the performances we've seen tonight, I can definitely foresee that happening in the future. Let's talk about the Rich Clemente Chris Stringer fight. The full mount that Clemente got on Stringer, he looked up and kind of smiled to the crowd. The Irish fans, to put it mildly, disliked that.
Well, he's been a bit cheeky and stuff like that, but he's, you know, he's got way more experience than Stringer. Stringer was, you know, took the fight on in 4 weeks' notice and stuff like that, and you know, it was a big step up for Chris Stringer. You know, I'd say that one matchup I'd like to see because of Colin's performance before, you know. Colin and Clemente might be a good matchup for the future for welterweight. You know, that might be a good one.
Yeah, I think based on both of their performances, that would put a lot of fannies in the seats right here in Belfast, Ireland. Well, I can speak for myself, my first time here in Ireland, that they really rolled out the red carpet for me. You guys, the people here are so nice, the environment is so awesome, the landscape is so beautiful. I enjoyed the heck out of myself here.
Good, I'm glad you did, Jay. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me. So for Jude Samuels, Graham Little, from Belfast, Ireland, I'm Jay Adams saying we'll see you next time on Cage Wars Championship.